When looking back at this Paradise season, we can't entirely separate it from the Vibin season. The storylines intermingle between the last few weeks of Season 3 and the first couple of weeks of storyline quests for Paradise. So let's rewind and retrace our steps to figure out where we were and where we might be going.
Hey, what's up everybody? Hello and welcome to Two Nerds on a Couch. I'm Thor.
And I'm Beth.
Grab a snack and a seat as we cover the highlights and storyline from Chapter 3, Season 4, Before the Fracture.
Near the end of Chapter 3, Season 3, members of the Seven started going missing. The 0 Point was sending out shockwaves, and we were trying to figure out why. With the Paradigm in charge of the mission, and Amy as her helper, we found that the Scientist, the Visitor, and the Origin were all underground in the Scientist lab, trying to study a substance they found around the reality tree. This brings us to the opening trailer for Season 4.
Tell me you're getting somewhere. We've already lost so much of the island to that chrome.
That's not surprising given the sample's behavior. I've never seen such accelerated psychokinesis. Whoa! I'm starting to think this may be a problem.
Get out of here! That's an order!
This isn't how it ends. Suit integrity compromised. There has to be a way to fix this. Aligning to reality. 6, 5, 9.
A new villain arrived on the island and was spreading their chrome everywhere. Who was this new villain and what did they want with the island and the 0 Point?
In the first couple of weeks of the season, we were introduced to new weapons and new items. Horta-bunkers were especially helpful in zero build modes. The vials of chrome could be splashed on yourself or on buildings. Chrome could be used to phase through walls as a faster means of travel, and oddly enough, a way to heal ourselves, our wildlife, and our vehicles. A few buildings were lifted into the air to get away from the chrome. We discovered that we could not only slide, but kick enemies away from us, which made for some really interesting plays. Cypher PK's Icon Series skin and cosmetics made their way to competitive cups and the item shop later on.
The map was quite different as the old IO blimp floated above Rave Cave. A crack in the sky was discovered above the house at Loot Lake. The pirate ship from Lazy Lagoon could be seen floating above the POI, which became chromified. Trichosaurus and the Rock family have disappeared. The Foundation's broken statue has also gotten a new shiny coat of chrome. There are special vaults floating around the island. A Chromnado is constantly whirling around at what used to be the Sanctuary, but has now become the Herald's Sanctum. You can spot her peering through a massive orb and using her magic to control the reality tree and the spread of the chrome.
Through the Paradise quests, we helped Jonesy and Amy make contact with the Paradigm as her communications were coming through the reality tree's roots. We decoded her message, sent her a signal, and received more information from the Paradigm as she tried to tell us about the Nothing. She has us finish some experiments the Scientist was doing with the Chrome by eliminating a player with an Evo Chrome weapon, phase through Chrome walls, and gather Chrome anomalies. Once we take these anomalies to the lab and run tests,
results are in. Inconclusive.
So what, there's really nothing we can do?
we learned that the Origin had battle plans for dealing with the Chrome, which is to launch an attack on the Herald. So we fight her, and her Chrome Wolves. Here's Amy's response once we defeat the Herald.
So, how did that go? Everyone okay?
The chrome persists, but I feel amazing. Vengeance!
Something is still very wrong though, and the Paradigm has to shut down communications immediately, so the whole operation gets put on hold for several weeks.
Week 3, and holy moly, there are map changes galore! So many things have changed. The Driftwood moved, the insurance building moved, the flagship moved, hell, everything moved. There was a new POI called Grim Gables that has Stranger Things styled grandfather clock. Chrome was spreading and a new crack was found in the sky above this new POI. Neo Butter Barn became Flutter Barn, and Coney Crossroads became Chrome Crossroads as buildings were lifted in the air. Sleepy Sound was changing as well, with the Coral Castle side being mostly chromified. Lackey's Lighthouse being lifted and became Loftier Lighthouse. The big gas station in the middle-ish of the island was floating as well, and the last legs of the foundation statue had hardened into hexagonal chrome. The Nothing, the Chrome, the Herald, and the Last Reality were trying to corrupt this island and 0 Point to their liking.
The Outcasts added a new member to their club, Svenja. There were a few loophole changes, as the Boogie Bomb was vaulted and the Cobra DMR was introduced. New Hollow Chests became another way for us to find loot, and the Rocket League Octane made its way to Fortnite Creative.
Bytes was being recruited by the Nothing as the Bytes quests were released. Through these quests, we learned a bit more about the villain that had only been vaguely referenced. The Nothing was part of the Last Reality and was testing Bytes through this series of quests. Bytes was proven worthy and became a warrior for the Last Reality after having unlocked all parts of the Nothing's gift. In the last transmission of that quest, we learned that the Nothing and the Last Reality were going to call upon Bytes to play a part in their scheme.
At the end of week 3, we took a bit of a break with the Aya Nakamura concert in Creative. Week 4's content update brought us the Exploding Goo Gun, Black Adam, and the Anime Legends bundle, which introduced an anime version of Midas.
Then the nightmare began. Fortnitemares, that is. Week 5's update brought us Ash Williams and the Nobi Cabin, a very creepy Willow and her jump scare zombies, and Reality Tree's very own DJ Laika, along with a new chrome aesthetic. We turned into werewolves through the alteration altars and tracked enemies with wolf scent. Zombie chickens took over the wildlife spawns. Several places around the map were changed in this Fortnitemares update, as the chrome had definitely spread its reaches further. A few floating platforms were introduced in various locations around the island for what tons of the community thought was going to be for the return of planes. Grim Gables was updated a bit because the Inquisitor boss had taken over. Their fiery personality engulfed the mansion in nearly every match. The flare ship, the insurance building, lighthouse, and driftwood all changed positions once again. The Coliseum in the south became further chromified. Sleepy Sound became Shiny Sound as more of the buildings were raised up because Chrome had taken over more of the area. Diagonal movement was also introduced for those who play using mouse and keyboard on PC.
The 22.30 update in week 7 brought us the Star Wars Skywalker Week and the Herald. All of the Fortnitemares specific changes were reverted, and the scary bosses, and sadly DJ Laika, were gone. One boss did make a return though, Darth Vader. This time, stormtroopers were posted up around the island ready to give out bounties. Lightsabers became the weapons of choice, and we were finally able to purchase the original trilogy heroes in the item shop. The Herald became unlockable through a series of quests. We find out that she is the Herald, or messenger, for the Nothing. While talking with various characters to deliver the Herald's warning, a few of them seemed sympathetic to the Herald's cause, and others wanted to distance themselves from the Herald. The Sunbird, however, decided to share her own warning. In the end, what you herald will consume you.
More of the chrome spread around the island. The No Sweat Insurance building made its way up to Chrome Jam Junction, lifting Crackshot's cabin along the way. The The driftwood floated its way over to Jones's, chromed Coliseum became solid hexagonal chrome, and Shell or Highwater took to the skies with a tiny floating golf course.
In the hotfix update for Week 8, all of the Star Wars items and locations were vaulted. Darth Vader took his stormtroopers back through a rift in the sky to another galaxy far, far away. The Dial-A-Drop item and Grapple Glider made their debut. The Outcasts were spotted at the northmost 7 base, looking out towards the mountain ranges beyond the ocean. What could that mean?
Week 9 brought the 22.40 patch, and with it the final bit of the Paradise Quest, map changes, and the Fracture event announcement at the FNCS Invitational. During the break between games 11 and 12 of the FNCS Invitational, Epic made the announcement for the Fracture event, which takes place Saturday, December 3rd at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Rocket League Octane cars rifted into the Battle Royale island. Tilted towers became tainted towers as the chrome spread closer to the reality tree. The flare ship and the driftwood floated on over to the launchpad POI that already had a floating platform with the Octane spawn. The small cabin cafe building near Chrome Crossroads was lifted. The cabin near Klombo's remains became chromified, and Bushranger returned as an NPC near the Nobi cabin. Zero Build Big Battle 40 vs 40 also released this week.
During the final part of the Paradise Quests, we tried to hear the Paradigm's message.
Reality as you know it is going to end. I know that's hard to hear, but there's no changing it now. The scientists' suspicions were correct. The 0 point has gone dormant. I need to wake it up, and I think I know how. I know it's hard to understand why we need to keep fighting, especially when we won't win. Ask Jones about the Loop Breaker project.
And Agent Jones tells us it's a bad sign, but lets us know how to access the information ourselves. And Amy comes up with an interesting idea about the storm and the 0 point. Later, we finally figure out how to give the info to the Paradigm through Bushranger.
The Fracture event countdown clock was visible in the lobby, and Wild Weeks were set to return with Avian Ambush during Week 10, plus a Football Frenzy event to take place while the FIFA World Cup was happening. There were a few map changes to include the floating soccer or football pitches that coincided with the Football Frenzy quest, and we learned that Battle Lab would be vaulted in Chapter 4.
Week 11 brought the final set of quests for the Wild Weeks, where we spend all of our gold bars by purchasing items from vending machines, items from characters, services from characters, or hiring characters, all at bargain bin prices. With Epic getting everyone hyped up for the event and the beginning of Chapter 4, we wanted to know which outfit you're wearing to the Fracture event. What do you think is coming in Chapter 4? No spoilers, please and thank you. This video took a while to put together for you all, so if you enjoyed it, please hit that like button and consider subscribing. We really appreciate your support. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to use code 2nerds on a couch in the item shop, and we'll see you next time.